Welcome back! This is our second video in a series on Ayurveda, where if you watch this first video here, you got to find out what your mind-body type is, whether you're a Vata, Pitta, or Kapha mind-body type. And if you haven't yet done so, please go to that video right here and go through the video and then do the quiz that's in the link in the description box below so you can really figure out what your mind-body type is. In this video, I'm assuming that you already know what your mind-body type is. You figured out you're either Vata, you're either Pitta, you're either Kapha, or a combination, some combination of the three. So here we are. I'm Karen, a holistic psychotherapist and Ayurvedic lifestyle instructor, and today we will be talking about how to balance your Vata, your Pitta, and your Kapha using lifestyle practices and diet. So generally speaking, when we talk about balancing out the mind, we think of reaching for aromas or scents, and as well as sound. Yes, that's correct, so music. When we think of balancing out the body, we reach towards things like touch and food. So food is very, very important to keep our balance and to balance out an imbalance if our dosha is out of balance. So to balance out the mind, essential oils and aromas become very, very important, as does music and sounds. And in balancing out the body, we think we reach more towards our diet, a specific diet that's right for us, and towards a specific kind of touch. And so let's begin with Vata. So remember, Vata, people of this dosha are made mostly of air and space. They are quick moving and tend towards anxiety and insomnia and constipation. To balance out an imbalanced Vata mind-body type, we think towards the essential oils of lavender and chamomile and basil, because they're very, very calming. And we think of music like soothing sounds like rain, the ocean, or very gentle instrumental music, or what's known as Zen music, or relaxation music, meditation music. When it comes to lifestyle practices to balance out the mind, meditation is most effective in people of the Vata mind-body type, and that's because they just respond the best to this kind of activity. And so it is recommended for Vatas to meditate every day, preferably 20 to 30 minutes, up to twice a day, but at least one time, 20 minutes a day. The kinds of colors that they should surround themselves with in their environment are earth tones. So again, everything to calm down the mind, because a Vata mind is very, very active. So we need to surround ourselves with colors that are soothing, like pastel colors and earth tones. So greens and browns and blues, white, those are very, very soothing to a mind body type that's of the Vata dosha. The Vata mind body type is also very, very sensitive to the things that they see. So it's really recommended to not watch any violent TV shows. Especially if you're having a bit of an imbalance in your Vata, focus on soothing visuals, animals, flowers, pleasant TV shows, or art as well should be pleasant. When it comes to balancing the Vata body, gentle, slow moving activities are generally best for Vata. Again, it's because they're already move very fast, we need to calm them down. And so yoga and stretching are the best activities for the Vata mind body type. When it comes to diet, Vatas should favor there are 6 tastes, or food is categorized into 6 categories in Ayurveda. We have sweet, salty, sour, bitter, and astringent. And pungent is the last one, which means spicy. We'll go into more detail in another video, but just for now, Vata should favor sweet, salty, and sour. Correct. So that means foods like, and sweet, we don't mean like sugary foods. It's just the way that Ayurveda categorizes foods. Meats are considered sweet. Sweet foods in Ayurveda tend to build tissue. So whatever tends to help you gain a little bit of weight is a sweet food. And so Vata should focus on eating foods that are sweet, salty, and sour. And that's because it just pacifies their system internally. Foods that Vata should also eat is because they run cold and dry. They should eat foods that are more oily and heavier and warm. So think warm stews or heavier stews. Vata people do very well with that kind of diet. It helps ground them. So Pitta is of fire and water. So we think that Pitta people they run warm, they run hot. So we need to, both in their mind and in their body. So we need to do everything possible to cool the Pitta mind body. When it comes to the mind, so Pittas tend towards irritability and fiery tempers or judgmentality or criticism. We think to balance out the mind, we look towards scents or aromas and sounds. So the aromas that balance out or cool down a Pitta mind are basil, mint, and rose, as well as jasmine. Kind of music that Pitta people should favor are more active, mildly more active music than the Vata people. And so they can listen to a bit of rock and roll, soft rock, or any other higher tempo music. The colors that Pitta people should surround themselves with and dress in are cooling colors like white, blue, and greens. Think of watercolors. That tends to pacify the Pitta mind body type. The Pitta body also responds well to yoga, but can also add some more active kind of exercises like swimming and biking, or some lightly competitive team sports. Not something that's very, very competitive, because that will just create an imbalance, but slightly non-competitive team sports would be okay. A Pitta body type can do well with more activity than the Vata body type. The kind of foods or diet that a Pitta person should follow is one that includes the tastes of sweet, bitter, and astringent. So foods that build tissue, which falls into the sweet category. Astringent foods fall into the foods that actually dry you out, because Pitta people have lots of water in them. So think of beans, tea, and anything green like kale and spinach. Those are all astringent foods. I believe even berries are astringent. So they'll draw the excess water out of Pitta. And in terms of bitter, I think lemon is bitter. So anything that is citrusy and lemon, Pittas do very well with, particularly because they have really strong digestion. And when it comes to Kapha, when you balance out a Kapha mind-body type, remember that Kaphas are made of water and earth. And so they are slow, grounded, heavier constituencies. So anything that enlivens them, stimulates them, and increases movement is what we have to go with. And so for the scents or aromas to surround ourselves with, Kapha people should surround themselves with peppermint, juniper, and marjoram, anything that increases stimulation. As well, the colors that they should surround themselves with are enlivening colors like reds and yellows and oranges, anything to give them energy. The music that Kapha people should favor are also upbeat music that's going to get them going, get them dancing, get them swinging around a little bit to get them off the couch. One tip that is very important to remember for Kapha, and remember Kapha is made up of earth, so it's very grounded and slow moving. One tip is that Kapha people should get up before 6 a.m. And that's because, Ayurveda is very complicated, but Vata, Pitta, and Kapha govern different times of day. Kapha, the slow processes, the slow moving time, governs between 6 and 10 a.m. as well as 6 and 10 p.m. And so in that time, all of our biological processes are a little bit slowed. Even our mental processes are a little bit slowed. And so if Kapha people get up before 6, they're gonna skip the lethargy of the 6 to 10 a.m. slump, basically. So, and because they already have lots of earth and they're Kapha, so they already are made up of earth, they're more susceptible to being lethargic in the morning. And so for them, it's really important to get up before 6 a.m. When we want to balance the Kapha body, it's important to focus on strengthening and endurance exercises. So Kapha people have great stamina. They actually are the ones that can run marathons better, if I can say, or more easily than the Vata mind body type or even Pitta body type, although Pittas really try really hard because they're good at a lot of things. and their personality type drives them. But actually the Kapha body type, they're structured to be able to do really well at endurance sports or activities. The kind of foods that Kapha people should favor are bitter, astringent, and pungent, which is spicy. And so think they do run a little bit cold, just like Vata, but a little less cold. But Kapha should eat a little bit foods that are warmed, but light in nature. Lots of salads with bitter, astringent, and pungent foods in them. So think peppers, lemons, kale, that kind of stuff. They really should favor the foods that are light, like vegetables and fruits, more so than the heavier foods, the oilier foods, the dairy. The Kapha people just do best if they avoid those foods and eat the lighter foods. Also, their digestion is really slow, so they do best on a diet that is easily digestible. And when it comes to touch, it's important to touch a Vata person very lightly, gently, and gingerly. It's important to touch a Pitta person with good firm strokes, and for a Kapha person, they can withstand way more stimulation, and so it's okay to give them a good rub down when you're giving them a massage or something like that. So let me know what you think in the comments below. Do you have any questions about specific foods for your mind-body type or particular activities for your own mind-body type as well? Stay tuned for my next video on spring grocery list. So how to eat for the season of spring according to Ayurveda. So Ayurveda divides the seasons into Vata, Pitta, and Kapha, and the spring season is the Kapha season. So stay tuned to my next videos for specific ideas on how to eat for spring.